Hello, my name is Cynthia, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I'm happy to be here with you today to talk about my stitching, projects I've been working on, some plans to share, and a giveaway at the end. I am coming to you on Thursday, November 11th, 2021. It's a bright and sunny day here in Fort Worth. I'm trying not to have my glasses on so they don't glare at you, but everything is sort of a blur. So if I seem unfocused, it's because I can't really see the camera, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I've got to show you. I have an exciting finish that I'm going to show you at the end of my finishes because I have a couple more before that, but one that y'all have been cheering me on for and several have seen on Instagram already. One you have not seen yet, because I just finished it about 30 minutes ago, is the Thanksgiving finish I decided to do for my window. I just am not feeling Christmas decor just yet. Nothing judgy about it. I decorated in November last year, but I just am in a place where I don't want to think about Christmas. So I decided to do an impromptu Thanksgiving display in my kitchen window. And I even kept the Halloween bow that I had on there before and used a lot of Frankie's threads, which I'll show you, to do this primitive hare. I think it's called Give Thanks Giveaway. This is the Give Thanks freebie, I started to misspeak, from Primitive Hare. It's pretty simple. I thought it could be done in a day. It ended up taking me a couple of days, but just a couple hours. And I was able to use, as I said, Frankie's threads from Wicked Stepmother. I wanted to use this fall thread called Falling Leaves in particular because I thought it was so beautiful. So I thought this will be a great way to showcase that with the variegation on the lettering. And then I just did the leaves with a continuous strand of the floss. I didn't try to pick and choose where it ended up. It just did what it did. And I liked it. I also used the Nutcracker floss for her apron. And here it looks very even and tan, but when you stitch it, it's got lots of brown bits, which I thought was perfect for a homespun sort of linen, which is what a pilgrim would probably have. And they were lots of fun. I used the same color on their skin as I did in my Barbara Anna All Creatures Great and Small, so they're a little bit Oompa Loompa-y, but I thought it worked out okay. And I didn't use black, I used charcoal because that's just what I had down in front of me. But like I said, a pretty quick stitch, and I will link it below. I like the way it looks on this tray. I just have it magneted on because I put lots of different things on this tray. So sort of a simple finish. I like the pom-pom trim. I didn't cut super straight. You can kind of tell. I just put a piece of cardboard behind here and it looks super straight when I put it up, but it kind of smooshed a little bit. So to try to disguise that, I used this $2.99 pom-pom trim from Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure I got it on half price. So super affordable, and I just really like the way that looked. I thought that turned out super sweet. Like I said, I had a last minute decision to decorate for Thanksgiving. I don't usually, but I do have a lot to be thankful for, and I thought it'd be a good reminder. So I put a few things up just for the first year that I've decorated. This, though, I wanted to share with you because I can link this turkey picture here. I did this at Halloween as well. I don't remember if I showed you on camera, but I probably had a video of the postcard, the vintage postcards you can get from Graphics Fairy. I've downloaded her images for probably over 10 years just doing paper crafting, and I thought, well, let me see what vintage Thanksgiving postcards she has, and this one is gorgeous. Look at the little pilgrims in there. And I had a ton of photo paper from my father-in-law because he used to print a bunch of pictures and then he stopped. And so I have like a box of Kodak. Yeah, that tells you how old it is. Photo paper, and it's a little bit glossy, as you can tell, but it's perfect for a postcard. And I wanted to do my window in under $10. That was my goal. I thought, let me just see what I can find at Hobby Lobby. This wooden pumpkin was $3. Everything was half price, so it was originally $6, but I got it for $3. And I painted the front in some kind of stripes. I want to do Plum Street Turkey Bay. My friend Christine was working on that, so I was like, yeah, that's definitely what I want to put on there. But for this year, I didn't have time, so I used a kind of cheater finish with a vintage postcard, and my daughter helped me paint the back. You can see she did that side and I did this side. So just some craft paints and a little bit of wax, Johnson paste wax, to kind of give it a finish, and it'll be a great display for Halloween or that Turkey Bay piece I want to do next year by Plum Street. I also picked up a little turkey that sits on a, and I'll have to put it on Instagram because it's too hard to film my window in day, and I forgot last night. So I'll show you on Instagram later, but I have this little guy on a pedestal. He's, I think, a place card holder. So he was like $1.50. So that was like $4.50. And then I got this little Count Your Blessing sign, which I could eventually put a cross stitch on if I want to, but I think this looks cute too. I like the black. And then I have one other wool applique piece that I'll show you in a little bit that is going to go in the window. So actually it's not quite finished. It'll probably take me a couple days to sew up the wool applique, but I just thought that was fun to do a Thanksgiving display in a very short amount of time. My primitive hair piece took it about a day and a half or two, and then I spent, I think, $8 for all of my Hobby Lobby finds. So don't feel like, oh, well, you know, I don't have anything to decorate with. You can always, you know, just do under $10 challenge and have a fun display for Thanksgiving. So I worked on that, and then I have 2 Barbara Anna finishes to show you. I'm so excited. I'm finally able to put away this giant chart that I have carried around in a bag for almost 2 years, over 2 years, for my All Creatures Great and Small. This is the information of what I stitched. I'll probably put that in the bottom below, but this sampler was 317 by 248, the largest one I've ever done or I've ever finished. I have bigger whips, but I was so happy to have her done. I have a picture, hopefully for the thumbnail, of me outside holding this because I just had this big goofy grin on my face. I was so pleased with how it turned out. I framed it myself. And it's funny, the mallow fabric looked so white when I was stitching it, but in a frame, it almost has a golden cast to it. It's just kind of a natural flecky linen, like I explained. 40 count, and all the called for, except I used the Anchor 20 instead of the pink. And I'll insert the photo I showed on Instagram. I had questions. What threads did you use? And I didn't even realize until I put them side by side, hopefully you can see that here, how much the red changed the whole overall feel of the sampler. Barbara Anna has a very kind of almost feminine quality to her pieces. She likes a lot of pinks and oranges, and I do too, but I really just wanted this to be more, a little bit darker. And so everywhere that you see red, like the fisherman's shirt and even the tips of the flowers all around the border, it went a little bit darker when I was able to use the red. So if you're thinking about stitching this piece, I highly recommend trying that if you don't care for pink like me. It doesn't mean that the whole design is not something you would like, because just changing that one color really did a difference. Not a huge difference, because it was literally just one thread subbed out, but it definitely did a difference. Now, I did other substitutions. I definitely had spots with like this butterfly. I know it was supposed to be blue on the outside and yellow on the inside, and I just started stitching it incorrectly, and so I left it. It doesn't really matter. Some of the other animals are colored just a little bit differently. I told you the white wasn't showing up, so I have like a gray rabbit, gray bird. I did do a little bit of back stitching. I had to, like on this bird and on the bird on the back, but I told you I didn't really care for that as well, so I wish I had switched those sooner. But there was no unstitching on this. By the end of the piece, you are just, you know, ready to go. Like I'm done with this. I don't want to see it again. I loved working on it, don't get me wrong, but there's so many details, so many different things. Oh, I love the way the apple tree turned out. Eloise Stitches on Instagram helped me come up with that plan, because I was going to do the apples in the charted. They're like kind of a yellow and greenish color, but I really like the traditional Adam and Eve, more of the red. So the red apples were supposed to be two-toned, and I just made them solid. And like I said, I really, really like it. I framed it with some foam core, acid-free foam core from Hobby Lobby. She cut it for me. I didn't even trust myself to measure because this is a really deep frame. So I took the frame to Hobby Lobby and she cut the mat for me, made sure that it fit. And then she pointed me to these, I thought you had to have a point driver gun to use these little points to hold in your stitching, but she was showing me that you can use a flat tip screwdriver. They have a different tool shown there. Is that upside down? No, they have a different tool shown there, but I just used a flat tip screwdriver and I was able to push all those points in myself. Here's how it looks on the back. I'll probably put some paper and a card over that, but here's these little points that are holding everything in. And it's real easy to get them out if I needed to pop it out, but I think I'll put some paper on it and call it good. And the other thing I did that was interesting, or at least something I've not tried, it was such a large piece that I really wanted it to get snug. My other Barbara Anna piece is a little bit loose. I don't think I did enough horizontal or vertically, but I didn't do enough stitching or lacing horizontally. And so it kind of sags a little bit and it didn't stay as tight. With this one, I very cautiously misted, and I'm not saying to do this. Do not do this unless you do a test on your linen, because this is not dyed linen. This is not hand-dyed floss. I misted the back of it, got it just a little bit wet. I didn't iron it at all, which I thought I was going to have to do. But I misted it just a little bit, and when I stretched it over the linen, it wasn't damp, not by any means, but it was just a little bit moist. It dried just even tighter. So it is just perfect as far as the tightness. Now I could maybe have been a little bit straighter. I got it as straight as I could. And that antique frame came from a antique mall. So thanks for letting me share that with you. I was so happy to have it finished and have it on my wall. I don't have a permanent home for it yet because I do a Santa display and I'll be putting all that up. So right now it's hanging with my Birds of a Feather by Blackbird and my punch needle, and I will insert a picture of what it looks like on the wall here. I had one other project that I finished. It's not stitching, but it's related. I was given a light to give my honest review on, and I'll do that in the next video, but I needed a table for it to sit on because it's a table lamp. And I searched around the house, couldn't find anything to repurpose, and decided to go to Goodwill, where I found a $5 cruddy old table that had like a magazine rack at the bottom and a leather top. It's not real leather. I think it's more of like a vinyl, but I liked the idea of it being leather so that if I got, moisture on it or something, it was fine if I wanted to set my drink on it. And I spent a couple of hours sanding it down, putting on some of my favorite American General Java stain and some Johnson Minwax or paste wax, and it is a new piece of furniture for me to use with storage underneath for stitching. So I've seen those kind of pieces around before, but I don't know if you've ever given them a look with an eye for putting your cross-stitch storage underneath. Like I said, I'll insert a photo of what that looks like here, and that was something that I worked on as another project. My last project I want to share is not fully finished, but it is finished. So my last finished, because I have a couple whips to share too. But this one is another Barbara Anna, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. I've shown it before. I don't think I even had the house, maybe one line in the house done last time though, and now it's done. I wanted to get this done before December because I have another Christmas start I want to sneak in before the end of the year, but mostly I'm going to work on Holly Berry Christmas. This though is called Santa, the Dove, and the Key. Here's the way Barbara Anna designed it. I'm not sure of what that fabric is. It's called Hazelnut by Zweigart, but I've never seen that. It says hand-dyed hazelnut. It looks sort of peachy golden, which I really like. And I probably would have done if I hadn't redecorated my whole front room from grays to the colors I have now. This would have matched better. But I'm very happy with the contrast of the Sea Lily by Wichelt. And it still will work. I have quite a few greens and blues in here still. I love the white natural silk that I got from Dinky Dye to do the bird. It stands out so nice. And then this is just ecru on the house. They're very subtly different, but they are. And then I love the flowers. I stitched those last night. I used a little bit darker color. I'll list the colors below that I changed because as I was doing the colors that were called for, the green, I don't know if it's still on here. Oh yeah, the green would look great on a tan piece of fabric, but it looked gross on this. I just didn't like it. I ended up switching it for a little bit brighter green, which I don't usually do. But like I said, the fabric just kind of called for this kind of brighter 937. So I'm glad I changed it. I had to rip out a lot, a couple trees, but I'm glad I changed it because it matches just a little bit of a cooler green, a little bit of a bluish tone. And then, like I said, I changed the Santa. I made him just a little bit darker. I think I had used this on another Santa for preschooler, and I really liked it, so I made this guy. I don't like it when you forget why you made decisions, like it's been a year and you're like, why did I make that darker? And I remembered, oh, it was because I was doing that preschooler ornament and it used that color. And as a result, I didn't use this brighter kind of pink she had. I used the original dark color that she had for the flowers. So there are different reds in there, but oh, I just love it. I highly recommend the pattern. I got it from Creative Poppies. It's not very expensive and it's not very big. It's a little bit of stitching. Like I said, it took me some unstitching because I had a little trouble with my colors on this fabric, but I think it's only like 64 by 112. But lots of little details. That snowflake I stitched this morning I thought was so pretty. And I love the lantern. It kind of goes with my idea of light for my channel. So love that. And I will show you that fully finished. I just ran out of time. I have a silver tray that it's going to go on and some ideas, but I had to come on while I had time. And I will show a lot of Christmas next regular Flosstube. I have a few other videos between that, but the next regular Flosstube, I'll show you that finished. I'll be this tray. I wanted to take my time and go a little slower. I really slapped the pilgrims together. I think I did that in like 20 minutes and you can probably tell if you look too closely, but it was fine for my, short-term use of it. So let me get out my whips. I just have 3 to show you, actually just 2, and then, no, 3. And then I'll show you some other ideas and projects we have coming up, or I have coming up, and I'll be right back. I didn't mention my All Creatures Great and Small was one of my contract pieces with my guild that I had intended to finish. So that was a big bonus. I got to check off one more on my, we call it Magic, my annual Good Intentions contract. The other piece, and I forgot to mention I would be working on it, but I really put a lot of work into my Sally Spencer. This is not a huge sampler. It is a little tricky. I've said it before. I had to pull out one piece because I thought this border here was a zigzag, just 3, 3, 3. No, it's like 3, 3, 3, 2, down 1, up 4, 3. So I had to rip it out because I thought it's not going to end on the right place. I might, when I have all the letters in and I can tell where to stop, I might just stop worrying so much about it. But I had to pull it out at the beginning. And then I went all the way over to the G. This is the end here. I don't quite have the tail on that, but that's the whole top line. And then I did put my name on here. I decided to preserve that time in my life when, because my name is kind of long. If I wanted to put Cynthia, it's 7 letters. I actually, though, went by Cindy, and I have lots of Cindy friends now on Instagram. Someone said, have you noticed how many creative Cindys there are? And I thought, right, there are a lot of us, but I've never gone by Cindy except for 1 year in 4th grade. I decided that I was going to change my persona. I was not popular in school. I was kind of a nerd. And I thought, I'm going to be popular this year. I'm going to call myself Cindy, and I'm going to introduce myself that way to my new 4th grade class. And so if anybody ever calls me Cindy from home, then I know they were in my 4th grade class. A few of them never stopped. My dad's the only other one that does. But I had used my maiden name on here, and I did get, well, some comments are not very kind, and a lady kind of impugned my character, saying I was being dishonest to say that I stitched this in 1984. And that's not what I'm meaning by putting the date 1984. It's more, I'm just preserving a memory of Cindy Herbal in 1984 in 4th grade, trying to be cool for some weird reason. And I want to put my family of origin, just my parents and my brother and I's initials on there. So I will put on the back that this is designed and stitched in 2021 by a 47-year-old lady, not by a 9-year-old child. But I was kind of taken aback by that comment. She said she was disappointed in me, and I just thought, whoa, coming hard there. But it's my sampler, and I like it. I like to have my family of origin remembered because I had a very happy childhood, and I just wanted to remember that. I even found a leather, I'll put a picture of it here because I meant to grab it. I had a little leather name tag that I stamped with, you know how you do that leather punching kind of craft in Girl Scouts, and it says Cindy. And I've had it, you know, since I was 9. I don't know why. I always kept it on backpacks and on bags. And I found it in a box of my mom's things. And I was like, I want to put that on this sampler. It has that old phone charm that I don't remember where I got. Maybe a Cracker Jack box or something. I was really old. My mom was a phone operator, so I always collected telephones. And I just thought it would be cute to have that Cindy tag on the edge of the sampler. I already have the frame for it, so I'm really going to push hard to finish this. It's a super fun stitch, other than those goofy border pieces. But once I get this joined up, I'll feel better knowing that I'm on track. And I love the colors. They're so weird. I have a couple of other birds of a feather unicorns that I got on Etsy that I'll show you. I was really excited to have them, but I've even thought about having a birds of a feather like in my powder room, like a wall of those, because I think they're just fun and funky. So thank you for letting me share that whip. The other one I had to show you, I didn't get as much done as I wanted because I was working so much on the Santa, the Dove, and the Key, but I did do some work on Hollyberry Farm by Stacy Nash, and it is a really pretty pattern that most of y'all really loved. I did finish that roof line. I don't think I had brought it around, and I was just doing lots and lots of fill-in. I also finished that leg of the last Hollyberry. That's the whole side now. The words are going to be a song by Rend Collective, my favorite band. And it talks about today is the Savior's Day. I wanted it to have a Christmas message rather than alphabets. So that's going to go up there. And this fabric, I had a couple ask. It was originally called limestone. I got it from Kitten Stitcher. I have a really big piece of it. I'm not going to use it all. And it, I think, used to have a little bit of a greenish tinge, which I kind of wanted. And then I dipped it in walnut shells in hot water. Well, not the fabric, but I put some walnut crystals in hot water, and then I just kind of sponged it on. I have some spots that are, I wanted it pretty grungy. If you see the model, it's pretty grungy. I didn't want it quite that grungy, but I have some spots that are pretty dark. Like I'm stitching over one right now that's almost covered, but there are some spots that might look a little bit grungy. But Stacy Nash really lends her designs to that, I think. And the white shows up great. So it's always nice to have a little bit of a darker fabric on a white house piece anyway. I would hate to stitch all of that white house and not have it show up. So think about that before you start a piece with a white house. And I am using the white silk again. This is the same piece I was using on my other Barbara Anna Christmas piece, the natural. And I actually bought another one just to make sure I had enough. I think I'm going to be fine, but I can always use white for other things. The other colors I'm using are Victorian Motto. This 1820 tan is what I'm using on the window and the porches, and I'm sure I'll use it in some other greenery. The Havana by Weeks Dye Works is what I'm using on the roof. None of these are called for. I was just kind of catching what I had and seeing if I can make it work. This was a piece I dyed myself for my aunt's bright red floss. And then I'm using this one and 935, I believe, to kind of do the popcorn green holly. I have explained that and some of you were intrigued by it. I'm going to plan on filming a stitch with me. I had a light to review, as well as I have had so many subscribers since I first started my channel over 2 years ago that may not know a lot about me. So I thought, let me stitch the hollyberry leaves to kind of show you what I mean by a popcorn technique of kind of, and maybe that's not so hard to understand, but I just kind of wanted to show you how I start with the dark and then add on a light and kind of hop around to mimic a hand-dyed floss. I think I can figure out how to tape my phone to my light, so I'll try to film that next week, and also do that Know Your Needleworker tag just to share a little bit more with my new subscribers about where I'm coming from. So those are my stitching whips, and I have one other wool applique whip to show you. I had, like I said, last minute decided to decorate for Thanksgiving and didn't have hardly any Thanksgiving patterns. I've had that freebie, like I said, that I could pull off the internet, but I didn't have a wool applique pattern. And what I ended up doing, I'm pretty sure my grandma Helen did this. There's a piece that she used to have in her house that was just kind of fooling around. Like, she decided to do, I believe she did it zigzagged around, or maybe she did needle turn applique with just some fabric scraps. And it was a scene with a house and a tree, and it was just kind of almost like an amateur flea market kind of art, but I loved it. And I thought, well, why not try that? I have a lot of felt. And all I did was print off, I just screenshotted it. I didn't even do it the right way because I didn't want to take their app, but I screenshotted a free color page. I figured, well, it's a free color page. I'm coloring with wool. What's the difference? And I cut apart each of the different fruits and vegetables in the cornucopia. And when I pieced them together, it got a little bit squirrely because I haven't done a piece quite so layered before. Like I said, I don't have any training on wool applique. I've never taken a class or anything. Sorry, my nose is itching. I think I have some fibers in the air. But it's getting a little bit lumpy, and I'm trying to pin it more. I know I could make it flatter if I had several people tell me use the fusible web on the back and then it'll be perfectly flat. But something about that makes me think you're missing some of the handmade quality when you do that. Now, I probably would if I had it, but like I said, it really was on a whim that I decided to do this. And I didn't have any interfacing. I didn't even have a pattern. I just thought, let me figure it out. And this is what I've done. I want to do some more stitching on top. The grapes are just kind of a blob right now, but they'll have some detail. There's a tomato on there and an apple. And I'm pretending that this is I'm trying to say that this is like an acorn squash. I think it was supposed to be an eggplant, but I didn't have any purple felt. In fact, this felt I tried to overbrush with walnut, and it's still a little bit bright. I wish it was a cooler color, but that's okay. This is just that 25-cent kind of oatmeal felt from Hobby Lobby. One sheet was the perfect size with the plate. I got this stand. I've shown it before. I think at my Halloween video I got from Farmer's Attic. And I know it's been in and out of stock, but I think it's made by a company called So Cherished. And they do a monthly block or circle that you can put on here. And I intend to make some for each of the months. I love how this display is higher than everything else, so you can kind of layer in front of it. And I'm going to put another piece of felt behind it and whip stitch all the way around. I have quite a bit left to do still on it. It's probably only about 30% done, but it is all tacked down, and I have some hand-dyed corduroy on here that was really splotchy that I wondered what I was going to do with it, and I think it looks really cool as a leaf. The rest is just some Hobby Lobby felt, some felt that my friend Joe shared with me, and one I got on an overstock or a stash unloading kind of site. Just a little bit of scraps. It takes very little felt. That's the fun part about just taking a pattern like this. The pieces were actually very small when you cut them out individually. So I might try this again, and I'd encourage you to try it if you don't want to invest in a lot of supplies for wool applique. You can do the felt from Hobby Lobby. It doesn't have to be hand dyed. That is kind of a heathery felt, but it's not a hand dyed. And then use a color page and see what you can get. I also printed off for a punch needle idea that I'm not going to have time for, but isn't this cute? This was just an image of a little turkey that's kind of a baby turkey in flight. I thought that would be a really fun little punch needle. I think I printed it off again, even smaller. Yeah, because that's a little bit big. No, this is the smaller piece. You want a punch needle about the size of your hand is going to take a lot of floss. So I don't usually do. I did Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom as the biggest punch needle I've ever done, and I prefer to keep them a little smaller. But I can just see a couple of little, maybe half pennies down here with some fun fall colors, and I intend to give that a try. So don't forget the free images. I already showed you Graphics Fairy to print off a vintage postcard, and then the cornucopia that I cut and traced, and then things you can punch needle. There's so much out there online that people share for free that you can take advantage of. I like to always keep frugal tips in mind, not to feel like your crafts have to cost a car payment or something. You can do fun crafts and decorate your home for a lot less. So I'll always try to share that with y'all. Let me put this up and I'll show you the things I was gifted and a few little things I picked up at the Dollar Tree and some Christmas ideas if you're looking. And then we'll announce the giveaway. So hang on just a second. I'll start with a couple of Stitchy Kindness things I got in the mail that were just very kind from my friend Frankie at A Wicked Stepmother. She's hosting our giveaway today, and I have another one from her too. She's very, very creative and busy. She sent these two new flosses for some Christmas stitching. This one is called Santa Baby and Peppermint Twist, and I can't wait to come up with an idea to use this on. Frankie, I'm still kind of playing around with some ideas, but thank you so much for those pretty Christmas flosses. And then one of my viewers, Diane, I believe her name is, and here, nope, Cindy. Oh, another Cindy. I told you there were a lot of creative Cindys. Cindy, thank you so much for sending your extra punch needle primitive stitcher magazine. I love this squirrel on the front. I have my little squirrel back there, so I will definitely be doing this. And actually there were multiple patterns. There's some really pretty pink pilgrims down there that I want to do, and some punch needle I want to do. So I will get so much use out of this. Thank you so much, Cindy. That was very kind of you to share. My friend Kristen from Blue Bonnets and Whiskey also shared a little past the stash. She gave these to, or she sold these to me for a song. I'm sure they're worth more, but I got a collection of XJU Designs hand-dyed silks, and I have a project to use those on, but it's going to be probably not next year, but the next. But I just couldn't pass them up because look at those beautiful colors. My favorite is Old Turquoise. I had actually thought, is that right? Here's me being blind. I think it's Old Turquoise. No, Fern Green is that one. The Old Turquoise is here. Isn't that so pretty? It's hard to find a turquoise or a teal that's not like really, really bright. And I love the muted tones of these silks. What I'm going to use them for, I had found some of my unicorns on Etsy, and I am going on a buying freeze next year. Not because I think anybody that buys charts is, frivolous or that collecting them is wrong or anything like that, but I just need to slow down a little bit. But these were unicorns, so I did go ahead and snag them. And I was a little bit worried that they'd be copies, but they're cardstock. They're original. I think somebody had a stash from a store that they had unearthed, and so they listed them on our Etsy shop. They're gone now, but do save a search. Excuse me. Okay, sorry. I have fibers in the air. I can feel them. I'm getting them in my nose, but this is the Happy Hearts sampler. But I like the message on it. It says, busy hands make happy hearts, which is very true for me. I love to have busy hands, and I had wanted this so badly. So I'm very happy to have this sampler, as well as the piece sampler. I know I saw Kelly Key X Stitch. That's not her name anymore. I'll try to print that down below, but Shelly had to restart her Flosstube because of a YouTube error. And she was stitching on this one, and I loved it, but I thought this is the perfect kind of use for these muted fun colors. So the Birds of a Feather, I have Sally Spencer underway, and then I have a couple of out of print charts that I've promised to friends, and then I'll start on these out of print charts. I'm going to have a bag of my out of print pieces because I don't want to hold on to them too long. I don't know if this one, the last one I got from that Fantastic Attic, I believe is her name. The last one I got, another cardstock. So happy. I've not seen this one in stores anywhere. It's called Boo Moon. I love that moon on the top with a little city in it. And I intend next year, I'll show you in my whip parade that is coming. I have some 12-day of Christmas ornaments from Plum Street. And when I'm finished with that, or I might even do some back and forth so I don't get sick of it, because that's what I plan. You know, I'm going to do one ornament a month, and then after 4 months, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I got these ornaments, and I'm going to start them before the end of the year. That's why I wanted to show them today. I will go ahead and start them on a tan fabric, and I'm not sure I'm going to use orange. I might actually use my favorite whiskey, because the gold, I think, would look pretty on there too. It even has a, sorry, I'll try to edit that out. It has a little an extra on the back. Oh, you can see it in the middle. That one's on the back, and it's a smaller one. They're all very small. I want to say they are 2.5 square. Yeah, 48 by 48. So they fit my extra small kind of, my words today. They're under the limit of stitches for my extra small. So I will be starting these next year. Actually, no, I'll be starting them this year to work on next year. So there's Boo Moon by Prairie Schooler, and I believe, no, I had some decor stuff I wanted to share. These are going to be used for cross stitch. If you have a Target nearby, I know a lot of people are going nuts for these. I got there right after they had put these out. There were probably 20, but I just needed one. I always worry about, I'm pretty sure it's glass. I don't think it's plastic. Yeah, glass. I don't love to have a lot of glass because I have a lot of kids and pets, so I don't keep a lot. But this one I couldn't resist because I can just see a cross-stitch finish in here. It's kind of bottomed out. I might have to level it up to the top, but I want to put one of those snowy animals that I think it's Little Stitcher. I know Daleen had done ornaments for her grandkids, and I want to do a similar treatment with this with some snow in it. I just thought it was so pretty. It'll look really pretty in this front room. And speaking of snow, I also picked up this snowman. He was $3. I mean, you can't beat that. I won't use the chalk piece of it, obviously, but I wanted to find a cute, maybe punch needle snowman to put on here. So love that. I think they had a sled as well, or they had another shape. I can't recall what it was, but those are fun at at Target dollar spot if you're looking for some fun finishing. And then I also picked up at the Dollar Tree some Christmas stuff. These little gingerbread shapes are so cute. I thought about maybe with my kids painting some of them and making like a garland in my window with some hot glue and some of that red and white baker's twine. And then of course just in the center of a bow. That would be really sweet. But I have some good gingerbread buttons, so I think I'll actually make a garland out of this. And I'm wanting to put some more red and black around. So I was going to use this for some ornaments. In fact, I'll show you, I think, what I'm going to top. Frankie gave me some ornaments to give away to y'all. And I think I'll use this kind of as an inspiration. And they also have the ribbon for $1. So I think it's just 9 feet. But yeah, 3 yards, but for $1, that's gonna be great. So I'm gonna have this on my mantle sort of just to change it up a little bit. And I thought you might like to try to find some of those too if you're into a good bargain. So those are the things that I hauled. Let me go ahead and insert the video of the giveaway winner. I was giving away the floss, sorry you don't know the mess that's in front of me, from Frankie with a waxer, and hopefully it's nice and cool so that'll get to you safely, but I will insert a video of choosing that winner here. Contact me below with your email, and or email me at the email I'm going to list below, and I will get your address and send you the wax and the floss from Frankie. Thank you so much for all of your kind comments about her work. She's a wonderfully talented dyer and designer, and in that vein, she has also shared some ornaments with us. Thank you, Frankie. These are called mistletoe kisses, and she has designed these as a PDF on her Etsy shop, and she was going to share with two viewers on my channel. So if you would like a chance to win the mistletoe kisses, and like I said, I'm opening this up internationally. That's a great way for me to do that with the state of the post office right now. So all you have to have is an email to enter the you don't have to give it to me until you win, but to enter the giveaway for 2 of these ornament patterns. I am planning to stitch these with some, I want to do the ones that say bells on them and use some jingle bells. And then I might use, like I said, that red and black kind of color scheme for them. So just really fun. I think you can stitch them up very quickly, I hope. And just a great design. Lots of different ornament or Christmas carol names like Making Spirits Bright, Sleigh Bells Ring, Tidings of Comfort and Joy. So I want to do a little series of those. I hope I have time. I did finish my secret stitching. I stitched up the ornament for my exchange. It's due next week, I want to say. No, in about 10 days, I've got to get that mailed to Rhode Island. So I'll have to hurry, but it's stitched. And then I have an exchange with my friend. So after I finish hers, I'm going to start these. And if you would like a copy, like I said, enter below with the word, let's see, mistletoe. And make sure you spell it correctly, M-I-S-T-L-E-T-O-E, mistletoe, one word. And if you enter that word in, you must be over the age of 18 so you can legally share your address. You can be anywhere in the world as long as you have an email. Frankie will send you a copy of a PDF pattern, and I hope that you, even if you don't win, would like to check those out. They're so pretty and quick for some last minute ornaments. I have one other thing to share. It's been a really packed video. I appreciate you sticking with me, but I have really been into reading lately, probably since about June. I think I've read like maybe 14, 15 books. So for me, that was a lot. I'd kind of gone through a slump, but I had joined the Book of the Month Club. I think I mentioned before my friend Krista that I follow on BookTube, which is the same kind of idea as Flosstube. It's just YouTube with book-related content. And I'll link her channel below. She's the link that I use to join the Book of the Month Club. And I've had so much fun getting books. This one I read and loved. The Four Winds was a book that took place about 2 hours from where my grandmother grew up in the panhandle of Texas, and it gave me so much perspective. I've seen other people talking about this from even on Instagram that are stitchers of the Dust Bowl, because it really affected my grandma, the way that she would squirrel away food and just never throw anything away. When I read the account of this family, the girl would have been the same age as my grandma, born in 1920, and living 2 hours from where my grandma grew up. It just was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had read this when my grandmother was still alive, Grandma Helen. It would have given me a lot of insight into her. I knew, she grew up during the Depression and the Dust Bowl, but it was so much worse than I even realized. And not that this story is like super, fun and uplifting. That's not it at all, but it's just very well written, and it gives you a historical view, which I love historical fiction, of a woman's life in this time period. So that was a book I could recommend. The other one I got is highly recommended by Amor Towels. It's called The Lincoln Highway. It just released like last month, so it doesn't have a lot of reviews yet, I don't think, but I'm looking forward to trying this on Krista Books and Jams recommendation. So if you're interested in Book of the Month, I've been in it for, like I said, about 3 or 4 months, and I've read a ton of books in the last 6 months. I really enjoy the way you can skip, or you can pick from 5 different books. The first book I think is $9.99, including shipping with my link. So I will list my link below just as a, if you're interested in checking it out, if you like to get books each month. I almost feel like I'm getting a present when I get my box, and it comes with a little bookmark. So check that out if you're interested. Like I said, I have a code below that'll get you a book for $9.99, and I think it gives me a credit as well. So if you're interested, no pressure. You can always just go to bookofthemonth.com if you don't want to use my link. But that is all I have to share today. I had a couple of videos coming up that I wanted to have you be on the lookout for. Like I said, I had a new stitching table that I put together with my new light. And I will be doing a quick review about that with a Stitch With Me and Get to Know Me Better. So I'll be posting that video hopefully next week. And then I'm going to pre-film my whip parade. So many of you said you wanted to see all of my whips. Thank you for that. I will film the whip parade before Thanksgiving, probably that week before, and then I intend to post it probably on Thanksgiving Day or Black Friday. So it might give you something to do if you're not going to go out into the crowds and you're done with all of your feasting and have some downtime. I will hopefully post that, like I said, on Thanksgiving Day or the day after. And then it'll be back to regular floss tubes for a while. But I had a couple of little things I wanted to share before the year is over. And I thank you for your time as I end all of my videos in the book of Psalm, verse 90, or chapter 90, verse 17. It says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Have a great week. And go.